Hello and hi there. I've realized I've never introduced myself formally yet, so hi, hello. How's it going? How you doing? Welcome in. My name is Shizu Rivera, and I am a voice actor here on YouTube specializing in listener-centric audio that puts you in the role of the main character. Anyway, so some of you might have noticed already that I've taken a small, not small, hiatus over the last bit of 2024. Not gonna lie, 2024 was a rough year for trying to get my feet under me. For those of you who don't know, I have spent the last several years bouncing from one soft tissue injury to the next. My most recent of which was an almost healed torn ACL that I re-aggravated with all the furniture lifting that I did while moving cross country in the middle of last year. I've moved a lot, over 20 times in my life, actually, but this one was the worst, by far. And the injury played no small part in that. I say this not for pity, but to point out that my body has been the biggest brat, and I have had a struggle between the pain and the exhaustion, and haven't been able to do a lot of the things that I normally can, which pisses me off to no end, but I digress. 2024 left me exhausted, so I spent the last part of it trying to get some healing done. But I wasn't just sitting on my ass. I would have gone stern crazy if I tried. I was preparing. I am a mad scientist and a villain, and 2025 is my conquest. Anyway, uh, I wanted to set myself up for success in 2025, and I have a strong feeling that this is going to be a really good year for me. So, with that said, why don't I let y'all in on the plan? Starting with the audios, naturally. I've been wanting to work on my own stories more. It's actually something I've always wanted to do, but they require almost 5 times the work that the public scripts do, and I just don't have the energy for that. Or that is to say, I didn't have the energy for it. Though I did fight tooth and nail against the reality of that through most of 2024. But it's a new year, and I'm determined. So let's look at the plan. Audios will be releasing 3 days a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday will be for the patrons. You guys will be getting audios a full week and some change ahead of YouTube. I seriously appreciate all of you, and I am determined to make the Patreon better this year. Wednesday will be my usual audio release for YouTube. So you guys have already gotten the collab Harpy audio that I released with Eris earlier this week, for those of you watching this when the video comes out. As always, I'll release at 7 p.m. EST, and this will be the audio that Patreon got 8 days prior. I'm also planning for these audios to be all Shizu exclusive audios, meaning they'll all be my own scripts, with one obvious exception. This month will be all public scripts, so I can get prepped, since I was trying to rest a little bit more over the holiday break. So January will be the only exception, hopefully, please knock on wood for me, in 2025. Hopefully, the true finale of the Injured Dragon series and the FF4A collab with Eris will help ease that a little bit. I'll explain more about the plans about the audios in a minute, but first, let me talk about the last audio upload day. Fridays. For those of you watching this when it comes out, that would be today. And I have special plans for this that I'll explain in a minute as well. But the basic idea is that this is the extra day. This is where the audios go that I can't plan, such as public scripts, or audios that aren't part of the usual, such as blooper, highlights, sleep aids, and things like that. Because, yes, I am going to be focusing on my own scripts, but I am not going to let any of the public script stories you guys already know go to the wayside. as much as I can help it. Again, I didn't write these. They're publicly available scripts written by other talents in the community. But I can't plan for them directly either, so I'm leaving space for them. I have a planned schedule with wiggle room for my own audios coming out on Mondays and Wednesdays, but I'll be planning my Fridays month by month. Speaking of the plan, let's talk about that. Because I know there are a few audios y'all have been dying to see return. I'll only be talking about my own scripts for this, but 2025 is the year of the big four. I'll start with probably my most requested series return. I never gave up on this one, or any of the big four for that matter, but I know y'all have been waiting for this one in particular for a while now. So about that sunshine and the moonlight. This one is actually my most ambitious plan, in my opinion, but I want to do what I can to prevent the long delays that it's had before as much as possible. Please keep knocking on wood. So, in 2025, starting at the end of February for patrons and the beginning of March for YouTube, I am working on posting an episode every month until we finish season 1, which, if everything goes as planned, will be done by the end of 2025. Now, there's a lot of things that can happen in a year, so please, again, knock on all of the wood and send me some bubble wrap vibes that I don't injure anything again and can heal so I have energy to do this. Anyway, moving on to the next series. Well, series of series. For those of you who don't know, The Suncoast is my series of series set in the same world. A kind of modern-day fantasy set in a fictional country of the Suncoast. You've already seen one of the series if you've seen The Astronomer. My little bunny girl is one of the series in this massive series of series. Have I said series enough yet? Anyway, for the first arc / season, I don't know what I'm calling it yet. Anyway, of the Suncoast, I will be introducing 18 series that will be uploaded to YouTube, listed here, along with 2 Patreon exclusive series, one that is F4M and one that is F4F. Neither of these will be necessary for the overarching story of the Suncoast, so don't worry about getting lost if you don't have the means to access the Patreon exclusives. You'll still get basically the whole story. In 2025, I'm joining the circus apparently because I have several different series as part of the Suncoast that I will be juggling in their relation to the overall story and their timing to be introduced. That being said, I have 11 series that will be starting in 2025, including The Astronomer, which I've already started, all for the Suncoast. The 2 in orange are my 2 Patreon exclusives. The 2 with the asterisks are both short series. Now, each of these will only have 3 audios planned and will be finished in the month that they are introduced to YouTube. Cool? Cool. Moving on. I'm actually going to talk about both of these series at the same time because they're kind of interconnected. While I will be doing Sunshine every month from the end of February until the end of Season 1, the Countess and Neo Noir series will be trading off months. The Countess will be starting in February and will be posted every other month from there, while Neo Noir starts in March and will be posted every other month from that start date. It's mostly a way to be able to include the Countess in the plan while also giving myself plenty of time for Neo Noir because it is by far and away my largest project per episode that you guys are going to see anytime soon. We're not looking behind the curtain at the project piled up on the floor right now. Anywho, that about covers the main audios, but back to those Friday audios, or videos in some case. I will be trying my best to put out something every Friday from here on through 2025. Again, knock on wood, only so much energy. Who knows what'll happen in a year, yada, yada, yada. But the idea will be that Friday audios will be where the extra audios go. Videos like this update. I also have plans to add things like genuine sleep aids and more traditional ASMR, continuing public scripts as the scripts get published, holiday specials, tell me all about it VODs, and more. I'll also be giving you guys a highlight reel of the bloopers for that month's audio at the end of the month. If you want all of the bloopers for that month, that'll be on the Patreon. This will just be a short highlight of some of the funnier bloopers. Some of them. So that's the idea. Now, on to the socials. Because I've honestly been neglecting those, so I want to go over the plan for them now. I'm still working on a posting schedule to see what will work, but I can at least highlight what I want from each of these platforms. So let's start with the elephant in the room. TikTok. I'm here to stay until the very end, should it come. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it, sort of thing. If it goes the way of Vine, dead and buried, I will figure it out. But until then, let me explain how I want to use it. TikTok is where I'll be putting a lot of the experimental stuff, the practice, and more. I have a series I just started over there called Say Without Saying, which is just short form writing to describe a word without saying that word directly. That's the title. It's just a good way to get some writing practice as well as some dramatic reading practice. I'll also be doing things like voiceover challenges, short snippets of covers, and things like that. Basically, it's just more little snippets of my voice acting and writing. On to the next social media. Tumblr. That is right. Tumblr. The place I'll be continuing the TikTok stuff if/when it dies. For now, what I'm using Tumblr for is lore, mostly. Not in the lore dumping ground like I'm doing with Patreon. It won't be quite as detailed. That will all stay on Patreon. But in the simple things and in the way I can interact with you guys. I already have a Sunshine Q&A up at the time of writing. So you guys can go and ask me or one of the pack members or Mari herself questions. I'll also be doing little character reactions, mood boards, and maybe the occasional story snippet. It's kind of my way of flexing the lore muscle and kind of building up the lore in my head so I have a better understanding of it myself. And I also thought it would be fun for y'all to interact with it. Moving on to Twitter and Blue Sky. These will be the same as usual. If you want information on what I'm doing, this is where you're going to go. But a little more than that. Every week on Sunday, please knock on wood, give me the energy, blah, 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 I will be posting a what happened. It's just basically just me going over what happened in the week in case you missed something. It's a good place to check up on what's going on in the world of Shizu because she a dumbass zoo and doesn't always keep up correctly with everything that's going on. Next, Instagram. This will be where I'll be putting my art that doesn't go on Patreon. Little things like previews of art coming out in the future, audios, glimpses at thumbnails ahead of time, backgrounds, and possibly some doodles. Things like that. Pretty normal Instagram-y stuff. And then there's the Twitch. Not really a social media, but I wanted to talk about it. For those of you who don't know, I already have a VOD channel over on Shizu Rivera Gaming. I'll leave it in the description for you guys if you want to go check it out. And yes, I know it's a basic name. I'm sorry. But I plan to keep it up to date as best I can in 2025. I am also planning on starting series, such as the one I've already technically started on, and going through Kingdom Hearts 1. I have plans to go through at least the mainstay of the series, so 1, 2, 3, Birth by Sleep, Chain of Memories, and Dreamed Up Distance. I'll figure out what I'm doing for games like 358 Ever 4 Days, and anything that's basically been made into a cutscene movie, but that might just end up being a watch party over on my Discord. Which, speaking of my Discord, as of 2025, the Discord is no longer public Discord. Instead, it is Patreon only. I've been thinking about this change for almost a year and have finally bit the bullet and made the switch. But speaking of Patreon, I don't think I've ever verbally explained what all is included in it since its full change and settle into what it is now. So let me just explain that real quick. Now, please note before I get into this, for every tier, but the lowest one for obvious reasons, you will gain access to all of the rewards of the tier below it. So starting with the lowest tier, It's the Puddle tier at $3 a month, and it gets you the most basic stuff. You get early access to all known audios as well as access to the Discord. The next tier is the Pond tier at $5 a month, and it gets you access to the 2 exclusive audio series coming out, which are not out yet. They will be releasing monthly until they're done. When they're done, you'll have full access to all of it at the time, but whenever you sign up until the final of the audios are put out, you will have access to everything prior. Everything that's out, you'll have access to in this tier. You will also have access to any other audio series that I decide to make Patreon exclusive. I don't have any yet. Plus, you get your name in the credits of my audios. That little credit scroll you see at the end. The next tier is the Brook tier at $10 a month, and it gets you more audios. You'll have access to the Storytime archive, which at this point has days worth of live recordings of the story times that I do every Sunday over on the Discord. Plus, you will also get access to the alert tones, which are downloadable little snippets of audios that you can use for your own personal use, like alerts to hydrate or alarms to wake up. I'm working on being better about those in 2025. The next tier is the River tier at $15 a month, and it gets you the lore/art drops, which January's art drop is already out, as well as behind-the-scenes content like what I'm working on, Discord streams, videos, pictures, breakdowns, etc. I may also include some polls here occasionally when I want/need y'all's input. The next tier is the Ocean tier at $24 a month, and it gets you a monthly letter addressed to you from a character of your choosing. Please note that there will only be physical copies of this letter available to you as residents until further notice. But international patrons will get a digital copy, and I will hold on to the physical copy until I find a solution. Additionally, you will get a custom mini commission. That is a commission that is under a minute. I would also like to add that there will be a form going out at the end of every month for the Ocean tier. You will need to fill it out in order to gain access to the letter and the commission, which I will send out early in the following month. It's very important, or I won't know what character you want or how to address you in the letter, and I won't be able to get you either reward. There are also 2 additional tiers, but they're a little bit more expensive and specific. Check out my page for those if you want more. I don't want to encourage people to sign up for them, though. Anyway, moving on. On a plan a little bit more specific and a little bit sooner than most of these, guess what? It's almost 5 years on YouTube. Yay! January 20th is my 5-year anniversary. I started this in 2020. Can you believe it? I can't. But I want to celebrate. So guess what? We're doing a subathon. I'm afraid it'll probably only be on Twitch. I've never figured out how to work YouTube, so follow me on Twitch if you want the alert. But I'm going to be taking my usual Monday stream and turning it into a Twitch subathon. Every sub over on Twitch on that day means another 5 minutes added to the stream count, capped at 32 hours, which I doubt we'll get to, but, just in case. To not burn myself out, I'll be spreading it out as much as I need over 4 days, from Tuesday to Thursday, with a cap of 8-hour streams, thus the 32-hour cap. I don't think it'll get that far, but prepare for failure, plan for success, yada, yada, yada. But, as a little preview to what's in store, let's look at the fun stuff, the prizes and the milestones. Here's your list of prizes. You'll notice the ones at the bottom here are locked until we reach certain milestones. And here is the milestone list. Anything with a crown next to it is courtesy of wonderful people in the community who have provided items for said activities through Throne. Thank you guys so much. This is what they're being used for, by the way. You'll also notice a stretch goal. To meet the cap of 32 hours at 5 minutes added for every sub, it means a total of 384 subs. If we gain an additional 116 subs to make it an even 500 for 5 years on YouTube, I will do the stretch goal. Why is it so high? Because she's a wimp. Like, seriously a wimp. I don't think we'll get that. It's not a challenge, just logistics. So I'm not too worried. But though I may be a wimp, I am a woman of honor. So if we get there, I will do it. And don't worry, if we don't make it, it just means I don't have to think up another stretch goal for the next time I do something fun like this. Now, most importantly, and please listen, please make sure you are financially responsible and stable. This isn't a big deal. This is for fun. That's all. Don't feel guilty or uncomfortable if you're not comfortable giving a sub for whatever reason. A reason you will never have to explain or justify, not even to yourself. Stop that, or I'll bonk you. Anyway, cool? Cool. So, that's all for the plans. At least that's all for what I'm sharing at the moment. I just wanted to say thank you so much if you've listened to the end of this. I just wanted to take the time to thank all of you who have stuck around so far. I know it's been a bumpy road, and trust me, my joints are like 80 at this point from all the damage, so I know very well how bumpy these roads are. But that you guys have stuck with me through all of this means more than I can say, seriously. If it hadn't been for you, I probably would have quit by now. My parents are amazing for letting me stay here with them while I try to get this baby off the ground, but I would have given it all up long ago just so I wasn't an added burden to them if you guys didn't give me the hope I needed to keep this going. The fact that you guys care so much about my acting and my stories, that you've stuck around, means a lot to me. And to the people who have just joined us, welcome. I thank you for being here and for taking a chance on a little dweeb like me. That goes for all of you, new and old. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this little gremlin tell, create, and share stories. I love and adore stories. I always have. So, thank you for letting me do this. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that 2025 is an amazing year for all of us. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.